Is this true? So what this individual was teaching was an African doctrine. This individual happened to be an African. But the problem comes in the play on words. When I look in my Bible today, King James Version, I got about 7 different Bibles. And I carry all these different Bibles, the Hebrew, the New Revised, American Standard, because whenever I speak, there's always people who say, that's not in the Bible. So I get the Jehovah's Witness, I get the Muslims, so that way when I say something, I can say, well, which one of you? This was in your Bible. Now, I want you to bear with us for a moment. Jesus. I look in the New Testament. Tell me some books in the New Testament. Anybody? Let's leave those. Leave those for a minute. We'll leave those for a minute. Now give me the ones that we really hear about.
Galatians.
Corinthians. Ephesians. Come on, give me all of them.
First John, Revelation.
Okay, good. Corinthians. Good book? Is it a book or a letter?
A letter.
It's called an epistle. Corinth. Geographical location. Greece. So this was a letter to some people living in Greece. Ephesians. Geographical location. The Aegean, Greece. Ephesians. Galatia. Geographical location. Galatia. Greece city state. Thessalonians, Thessaly. Geographical location.
Greece.
So when we're quoting these letters that were designed for the Greek city-states, we have to be careful that we have not been duped into embracing Greek mythology. How do I say that? Well, let's talk some Greek mythological belief systems that has found their way into what we had as original Christian doctrine. I want you to say Christian. I want you to say Christian.
Christian.
There's a difference. When we say Christian, then according to the Bible, the disciples were first called Christians in Antioch. And where's Antioch?
Greece.
Greek city-state. Antiochus. I'm about to clean you up. See, because we've been brain dirtied and have to have our brains washed. Somebody tricked us into thinking being brainwashed is a bad thing. Being brain dirty is a bad thing. I'm going to mess you up. Not too much. I'm working. All right. So, we are arguing as Muslims and Christians and Jews about dogmas without knowing the origin and the influences of those people and those lands that produced those dogmas. As a little boy, I remember someone saying to me, "You better not blaspheme God. If you blaspheme God, you're going to get
struck by lightning."
Say again. Struck by lightning. Anybody ever hear that? Listen. Is that an African precept or a Greek concept? Greek. Because according to the Greeks, if you spoke ill of Kronos and Zeus, who would strike you down? Thor. With what? Lightning. So how did that come on over into what we're calling Christianity? And who is doing this? I'm going to describe somebody. I want you to tell me who I'm describing. Ready? There's a man. He's about huge muscles, long hair. He can grab a lion with his bare hands, kill it. Who am I talking about? No, I'm talking about Hercules. Now let's see. Are there similarities between the biblical interpreted Samson and the Greek influenced Hercules? Hercules was of a tribe from Greece called Danoi. N-O-I. Say Danoi.
Danoi.
Samson was of a tribe called the tribe of Dan. Now, Hercules, his name, Hercules, means the sun god. Samson, Hebrew name is Shimshon. Shemish means the sun. Could be a coincidence. Or is somebody taking Greek mythology and putting it in a book and interpreting it for us outside of the original books of the Bible and have us hating each other? And one church, we Pentecostal Holy Faith. And everybody is at odds over that which we really don't know. Now, is there a biblical tribe of Dan? Yes. Is there a Greek tribe of Dan? You now can say yes. Is there an African tribe of Dan? Yes. In West Africa, you can look it up on your phone. It's called Dan. They wear the mask. It's called the Dan mask. It's a tribe of Dan. Messiah. Say Messiah.
Messiah.
Is there an African tribe called Messiah?
Yes. Messiah.
Messiah. When the Messiah come of age, what is their coming of age ritual? Not just the Messiah. They must kill a what?
A lion.
And what do they do with this lion's mane afterwards? They win. You have a Google Images on your phone, type in the Maasai lion's mask, and you see the men wearing these lion's masks, conquering lions. So did somebody take some rituals that you had genetically predisposed in your DNA to know and accept and sprinkle it through the Bible, which is why we gravitate to Bible, Quran, as it's interpreted today, without realizing that genetically you're predisposed to embrace these things. Because you are Messiah. You are Danoi. You are the original tribes, but someone played a game. The game was played with language. Because when you and I say tribe, say tribe. Now say dynasty. Dynasty. When you hear dynasty, what do you think? Honestly. What else do you think? The first time. Say it again. Asian. You think outside of you. You don't relate to it. If I say Egypt, before you, those of you in this room who have become conscious, when you heard Egypt, when you first watched Charleston Heston as a little boy or girl, like I did, and Egypt, let my people go. How did you feel about Egypt? You felt, come on, Israelites. Drown those Egyptians. Right. Be honest. I was there as right as I could be. Come on, go. Yes? Right. And so when we hear the word Egypt, we think pagan. That's right. And we were right, yet we were wrong. We were right, and I'll tell you why in a moment. We were wrong because we are identified as Egypt. So you and I were being taught to hate who we were spiritually. But we were right in that we are really not Egyptian. The word Egyptian is Aegyptos. And it means to burn black. You were not Aegyptos. You were a Melaninite, born of the sun, and of the moon, and of the earth, and of the wind, and of the water. The Bible says it. Let us take man and form him of the earth. And the what? Wind. And how does that wind, what's that wind called that gives us life? Breath. And what's in the breath that gives us life? And what's in the air that gives us life? The element? Oxygen. And that oxygen is carried through the body by way of what? Blood. And that blood is the water. And when it reaches inside of each of us, is there a sun? Is there? Really? Oh, there is a solar plex. There is a
Yes.
What if I told you that is ancient African teachings? What if I told you the ancient Africans acknowledged that there were cycles to life? That there was an earth era, which was destroyed by earthquakes. There was a wind era, which was destroyed by massive dust storms and sandstorms. There was a water era, which was the submerging of all land mass. And there's a fire era, which you call meteorites and volcanic eruptions. The Bible further tells us, give man, and I got to keep quoting it the way it's written, dominion over the fish, water, fowl of the wind, and every creeping thing that moves upon the earth. So the precept of ancient Africa's elements, earth, wind, water, fire, isn't there in that Bible? Yes, it is. So where does the split come in? Now, what if I told you that what I'm saying right now, Bible scholars admit to and know? Make sure they get 2, and if it's not enough, they can share and you'll get more.
Right.
This Bible here, this is one of the many Bibles I carry. It's King James Version. Zondervan. Zondervan is the one that Pastor Olstein uses. T.D. Jakes, Creflo, Reverend Price, a few others. Okay? What he's passing around is what I photostated out of here. And pass it around, so we're going to read some stuff. Because when we're saying,
let's just see if we can share for now.
When we're saying that the original Chaldean, because that's where we're going to go with this, that all of these original books of the Bible, the original records of ancient Africa come out of Africa. The original Bible, not King James' interpretation, not his version. The original version was found in Africa. When we say the original atonist doctrine, the original Chaldean doctrine predates monotheism, we're all crazy. Now let's see. Do we have them? Can we share? Anyone? Please keep moving slow. That's okay. All right. If you have it.
If anybody wants to volunteer to help, that's fine too. I'm just messing.
All right. I'm going to need you to read with me. Do we have it? Ancient texts relating to the Old Testament. Do we all see that? If you don't have that page, flip it. It might be the page behind you. On the very top, it should say ancient texts relating to the Old Testament. Major representative examples of ancient Near Eastern non-biblical documents. Anybody see that?
Yes.
So they're telling you where you find these non-biblical documents that provide what? Parallels to do what?
To shed light
On
various
Old Testament passages. What is all that mumbo jumbo really saying? A lot of what you're reading in the Old Testament, there's some records, but they actually get deep here and they call it Near Eastern. Let's see where these Near Eastern records come from. The Amarna letters. Hundreds of letters written primarily by Canaanite scribes, illuminate social, political, and religious relationships between Canaan and Egypt during the reign of Amenhotep III and Akhenaten. Why did they put this here? What is this we're reading again? Major representative examples. So this is a major representative example of ancient, I'm not going to put Near Eastern, you'll see why, non-biblical documents that provide parallels to or shed light, clarity on various Old Testament passages. Akhenaten, right? The Atonist doctrine. Second one, Amenhotep's wisdom. 30, can y'all read this with me because my English may not be good. 30 chapters of wisdom instruction are similar to Proverbs 22:17 to Proverbs 24:22. So where's Proverbs come from? Amenhotep. Wisdom. In Africa.
I'm going to see if we can get some more.
Because Amenhotep was a ruler in Nubia, what they call it Sudan today. So his wisdom was taken by someone, namely Constantine and Alexander the Greek. Not the Greek. When they had in Alexandria, or Iskandariya, they call it today, and they were removing records and things around, someone borrowed Amenhotep's wisdom, and Amenhotep is the father of Akhenaten, and put it in the Bible called Proverbs, and these scholars are doing what? Admitting it. Well, let's continue. Atrahasis epics. A cosmological epic depicts creation in early human history, including the flood, which became what? Genesis, what does it say there?
1 through 9.
So where does Genesis 1 through 9 come from? That the scholars are admitting?
Atrahasis.
Well, Rev, what the heck is Atrahasis? Well, the Atrahasis is what they're calling Babylonian theodicy or Babylonian records. Well, how does that relate to Africa, Rev? Well, biblically, there was a god, hunter, mighty hunter, respected, Nimrod. Anybody ever heard of Nimrod? Mighty hunter, Bible, Genesis 10. Ruler of Akkad, Iraq, Babel, Calneh, and Sumer, Shinar. Well, what was Nimrod? Oh, well, brother, Nimrod was a Mesopotamian. I didn't say where he lived. I said, what was he? Because you taught me in St. Raymond's Elementary, in the Catholic Church, you taught me Nimrod was the son of Cush.
That's right.
And Cush is Ethiopia. So if Nimrod is the son of Cush, and all Bible scholars say Cush is Ethiopia, then Nimrod was an Ethiopian. But, wait a minute. Cush was the son of
Ham.
And all Bible scholars tell me Ham means black or Hamid. So Nimrod was an African, Hamite, Kemite, Cushite, ruling in... Are there Africans still in Iraq today?
Yes.
Yeah. Please don't believe me. Go on your Google. Use that iPhone.
That's right. They sure is.
Can you get me that? Matter of fact, yeah. Revelation. Can you grab me one of those Revelations? I have a bunch of pictures of them. In Iraq today, and their story is not being told. We talk about the Kurds, and we talk about all the Shiites and the Sunnis, but there's Africans who've been living there who identify as Africans and say, we've been here before these other Persians came in, but no one's talking their story. Let's continue. Next one. Babylonian theodicy. What does it tell us? A sufferer and his friend dialogue with each other. What did it become according to these Bible scholars? So where does the book of Job come from? Babylonian theodicy. Who are the Babylonians? Oh, Nimrod ruled in Babylon. Bab Ilion, the doorway to the highest. Bab. In Hebrew, that thing there, that door is called Bab. So if I said Babylon, they'll say confusion or to wrestle. No, Bab Ilion, doorway to the highest. Let's keep reading. Cyrus Cylinder, Akkadian. Tell me some cities Nimrod ruled again. Akkad, Erech, Babel, Calneh, and Shinar. So when we're talking about the Akkadian cylinder, or the Cyrus cylinder, they say here, King Cyrus of what? Of Persia. Records the conquest of Babylon. Persia, where's Persia today?
Modern day
Huh?
Iran.
Iran. Farsi. Persia. There's Africans living in Iran today. And they said this became what book? Daniel's 5:30 and Daniel 6:28. So they're admitting that someone's borrowing from other people's writings to form, and like Dr. Kaba just said, are so bold they will tell you. They will tell you, yeah, we stole your stuff. And you go, yeah, you stole my stuff. Okay, so now. Isn't that strange? Well, let's continue. Dead Sea Scrolls. Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Several hundred what? Where was the Dead Sea Scrolls found? Does anyone know?
Qumran.
Called Qumranian caves, the Qumranian tablets or scrolls. Like the Malian manuscripts that they found about 3 years ago. Right. They go back over 10,000 years and speak of cities in West Africa that rival Mesopotamia in how old they were. And all of a sudden, after these manuscripts were found, an Indo-Arab starts this whole Taliban people going into Mali and burning the records. And then the French, the heroes, come in and say, we'll save the day. Are they saving the day, or are they there to take those records, reinterpret them, and then give them back to you? We're watching it happen again. They're saying the records are being burned. Of course I can do that. If I come in, if you're in there burning records, I push you out, but I've been trying to get to these records because when they first found it and realized that the Malian manuscripts were being kept by these indigenous Africans in West Africa for thousands of years, passed from mother to daughter, they said, we want those records to interpret them. And at the time, the president of South Africa was Thabo Mbeki, and he stood up and said, no, the African Union will send money and we'll send our own archaeologists to form our libraries and put preservation in the right conditions to keep these papyruses from falling apart. And they said, because every time someone finds your records, they take it over and they reinterpret it before they give it to you. So he said, no, we won't do that, but now all of a sudden war. Let's continue. What else? Ebla tablets. Can somebody read that for me, please? Thousands of commercial, legal, what else?
Literary and extrasolar texts describe the cultural vitality and political power of pre-patriarchal civilization in northern Syria.
Why do they say pre-patriarchal civilization? Who are the patriarchs of religion? Who's a patriarch of monotheism according to what we learned as children? Abraham. But here it's telling us, did you know the Ebla tablets speak about a man called Abraham? Please don't believe me. I could be lying. You made it up last night. So go on the internet, do your homework. Look up Ebla tablets. That's why we make copies. You take it home. If you really want to know. If you really want to find out that you as a Nubian Melaninite had a true religious identity. Had the original, these are the original books of the Bible. Let's continue. The Elephantine papyri. What is Elephantine? Can anyone tell us where this is?
Egypt. Island. So it's an island.
Off of where?
The Nile.
The Nile. Aramaic. Contracts and letters document life among Jews who fled to southern Egypt after Jerusalem was destroyed. Which Jews? Was it the converted Jews called Khazars of Russia? Or was it you, the Tamaraean Judeans? Was it you, the Igbo? Was it you, the Lemba? Was it, if anyone doesn't know who the Lemba are, Lemba, the Lemba European Jews went down into Uganda, where they saw these dark men and women who said that they were Beta Israel, like the Colossians, who don't like to be called Colossians, it's a sign of disrespect. And they took cotton swabs, they did documentaries, and they said we ran these cotton swabs and we found out that these men and women were 99% genetically the Kohen of Israel, when the so-called Jews of today are only 2% genetically the Kohen of ancient Israel. The original Levitical priests, say Levi. Well, in the ancient language, that V sound wasn't there. So it was Lawi. Say Lawi. Lawgivers, yes? Is there a Lawi in Africa?
Malawi.
Where the lawgivers came. You are those original tribes, but we just don't know the language. We don't realize the Igbo. Say Igbo. Now say Ibir. Now say Hebrew. You are the original Igbo or Hebrews. That's who you are. These original manuscripts we're reading, you had them. This was your text. When you say Ethiopia, say Ethiopia. Say it again. Ethiopia. What are you saying when you say Ethiopia? Ether utopia. What's an utopia? So what is an ether utopia?
Heavenly place for ethereal.
A heavenly place where ether beings reside. You didn't call it Ethertopia. You called it Aksum.
Right.
But Ak in Tamaré was the etheric body, the transient spirit. The Ak, the Ba, the Ka. You were the Aksumites. Why were you called Aksumites? Say Sumite. Now say Shemite. Now say Sumerian. You were the original ancient Sumerians. How do we know? Nimrod was the son of Cush. Nimrod ruled in Shinar. Shinar was Sumer. Nimrod was the son of Cush. Cush was Ethiopia. So you were the original Sumerians. Someone knew this. Let's continue. I'm going to make you understand what we're here to do today. The Enuma Elish, Akkadian, Marduk, the Babylonian god of cosmic order, is elevated to the supreme position in the pantheon. The 7-tablet epic contains an account of what? Creation. And what else does it say there? Genesis 1 and 8. So do they know that these are your records? The only people that don't know is you can't blame anybody anymore because it's here.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to read this, see this, hear this, and then reject it? Don't say no for them. Each person in here now, you have to speak for yourself. I don't care what your gender, your race, how tall, short, thick, thin, brown, dark. That means nothing to me. What matters to me is, are you the type of individual that when you see truth, hear truth, taste truth, smell truth, rejects it? Or can you handle the reality that I've been lied to? Not to where I get angry, because anger has no place in this, but to where I decide to do something about it. To take what I'm learning and make sure I convey it to others. Because that's the dilemma we're faced with. So, and you can read the rest on your own. However, I wanted to touch on it because when we speak of the original books of the Bible, see, when you say God, say God.
God.
Say God again.
God.
This word God as it's been given to us, without never having the opportunity to find its origin, or to question its origin, because if you question it, you are damned. You're a bad person. You're no good. You're a blasphemer. You feel guilty. So when we speak of God, and we think about Egyptians, and we think Egyptian pagan, though Isaiah 19 says in that day the Egyptians shall be first, but there'll be two Egyptians. These two Egyptians. So we say Tamaré. Did we as Africans worship animals? Or y'all have these masks? Wear these masks, these animal masks. Oh, you mean like the California Golden Bears wears a bear uniform? You mean like the Florida Gators wears an alligator mask?
That's right.
You mean like the Georgia Bulldog walk around as a little ugly dog? Okay. Did we worship animals, or were these our mascots? Well, what are mascots associated or attributed to? Universities. These places were not temples. These were our universities where we studied These were our universities where we studied the universe. That's why it was originally called a university. Because the first thing you learned was about the universe and its relationship to you. It was called solar biology. That teaches us that everything that happens in me is happening in the universe. Right. The way the cells of my body move, the way the planets rotate around the sun, the way the sun or the solar system rotates around its central point within the Milky Way galaxy, the way the Milky Way moves around its central point in the universe. A macrocosm of the microcosm. Or a microcosm of the macrocosm. We say, which was first, the macro or the micro? God said, let there be light. So was the light first or everything after it? The light. The Big Bang. The spark. The great word. Whichever way you need to say it. So micro started first, right? When micro started, was it potent or impotent? Was it potential energy or kinetic energy? Potential energy. So that minute particle, that atom, or atom, or Adam, atom, cellular, electrical energy, Adam, flesh energy. Well, Adam is a man, is he? Created he male and created he them. The design of the physical anatomy is it a male or female design? How many say male? How many say female? How many say I don't know? Well, we have something on all of us called mammary glands, which in the average man has no use. And I said in the average because nowadays some men are lactating because of the environmental estrogens that have been put in the food. So it does happen. But originally, what's the purpose of mammary gland? In every mammal, the amount of mammary glands that the mammal have depict the amount of children that the mammal originally was supposed to have. Right? If I have a dog's pregnant, 6 mammary glands, how many babies going to come? 6. Reality, yes? If I have a cat, pregnant, 7 mammary glands, how many kittens? You know that's what's coming. So if we as human beings have 2, then how many male and female created he then? Originally, there was a male and a female when each individual was born. That's why there was 2. But men have them, but there's no use for them. So reality, that X chromosome, and that Y, which is a shrunken X, that's maimed with one of the sides. Yes?
Yes. Come on with it, brother.
I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm a man. I'm okay with saying it. Because the original Kanessa or Kanisa, the word Kanisa was the original word for church. In Israel today, they call it the Israeli Knesset. It's assembly. But when you say Knesset, you're saying Ka, say Ka. Ka. Spirit, Nisa, the female. And it was called the mother. The mother, the church was mother. When I go to Catholicism and I stand in front of any cathedral, and I'm using Catholicism because they're the original Greco-Romanized church, them in the Greek Orthodox, and I stand in front of a cathedral, I want you to visualize in your mind a cathedral for a moment. And you're staring at the bottom step of that cathedral, you're looking up, and you're walking up those steps and you see these 2 doors. And around this door you see a dome. And now look up for a moment in your mind and see these two windows on each side. And around these windows another dome. And ask yourself, what are you looking at? I'm looking at the female. And they used to say a man must be born again. So he would enter into the womb of the mother and be forgiven of sins from one who shed blood and then come back out. Because the Greco-Romans did not understand or did not like the fact that females were able to do something that they could not, which was purify yourself through the shedding of blood. Your body's way of recalibrating itself every month. So they made it, when in reality they were jealous of that. And so had to figure a way for someone to come in and also shed blood. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, whoever shall believe in him shall perish in life. And this Son went on a cross and bled so that you would be forgiven. But all of us, any man in here been in a delivery room with a baby coming? If you haven't, let me speak from experience. The greatest thing you can ever see, but it will give you a whole lot of respect. Your mother laid down her life so that you can live. Because I've seen my wife hooked up to that machine that's monitoring the baby. That's what it sounds like. I'm sure as a guy, you're like, and then you're watching. They have this other monitor to tell you when the contraction's coming. And you watch these numbers climb from like 40 to like 250. And I'm not real good at math. I do like math, but I know that's a lot. And at 40 hertz, 250 must be like, oh, and I've made the mistake of putting my hand in my wife's hand, and she bent them all. Like, oh. Now, I'm saying that to say she laid down her life so that we may be. So in Tamaday, they always put the mother on the throne and a baby in her lap. And that was the symbol of life, because all babies know when they come out to turn towards that source of life. And that source of life became a circle with a dot in the center, which is the mammary gland. But when you took it to science, it became a symbol of the atom. Before the atom begins the chaos, and that's why the word Adam in Hebrew has a yad meme at the end. But when you add a yad meme or a meme at the end, it becomes male and female, becomes feminine. The word Elohim is not masculine. The word Elohim with a yad meme in Hebrew makes it feminine. There's singular, dual, tri, and then more. But when monotheism came in, what is monotheism? No, that's not what it means. Manos is a Greek god of sarcasm. Theos is a Latin interpretation of that Greek god. Monotheism is the teaching of sarcastic doctrines.